Hi guys, and welcome to another video from BetfairTradingCommunity.com. I'm just going to show you a trade that I'm just doing live here this morning. Australian football. As you know, if you're on the forum or you follow us at all, we love the Australian football, mainly because there's a lot of goals. Results tend to be predictable as to what you want them to be. So yeah, I'm just going to get involved in this trade here, and I'll explain my reasons why as I go along. So as you can see here, Perth Glory playing Adelaide United, 5 shots on target, 7 off. It's just gone half time. Now, at half time, there's 4 shots on target, okay? So not normally a stat that would greatly interest me in terms of it's not that high, but there was a lot of action in the last few minutes of the half, which a member actually pointed out on the BTC forum. So what I want to do here is just watch the next few minutes and see how it goes. Will there be an opportunity to get in on the market? Let's see what happens. I think there's 2 options here. One is lay the draw. Quite a popular option just because you don't have to lay at a crazy high price at the moment. As you can see here, it's already 2.4 on Bet365. Obviously, it'll be a little bit bigger on Betfair, but it was around 2.6 at half time. So, not a massive liability laying at that price. Whereas 0-0 was 6.0 on Betfair. I'm not sure what it is now. I'll just get it up here. So here we are on the correct score market. And you can see 0-0 is down to 4 now, so it's gone down quite quickly actually, which is quite good. It's only taken a couple of minutes to get down. So I'll just go back here. As we can see, not a ton happening right at the moment. We've had the 1 shot so far in these first 5 minutes. But because the odds have started to move our way, that's quite good. I'm going to pause it here, see what happens over the next 5-10 minutes, and I'll come back if I do get involved in this trade. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm just back quickly here to show you why I'm interested in this trade in the first place. As I always say, you've got to have the pre-match and the in-play stats matching up. Now, at the moment, the in-play isn't quite there for me, although I'd only need a couple more events, really, like a couple more shots on target, maybe 1 off, 1 on in quick succession. Obviously, there's been 7 corners, as you can see here, so quite lively in that department. Now, I'm going to go to the pre-match stats, which is the other thing I say are really important. So you need the pre-match stats to back up what you want, and you need the in-play stats. Now, as you can see here on the BetfairTradingCommunity.com software, it's really good because you can have a really quick look and see that actually been a 0-0 between these teams in recent games. So the recent games they've played against other teams. And then in the head-to-head, there's also not been a 0-0. Admittedly, not a ton of data there because there's only been 4 games, as you can see. But quite positive data in terms of we can expect a goal in this game. Obviously, I'm not quite there yet with getting into this trade, and I'll come back in a few minutes if I do. But yeah, as you can see here, no 0-0s. So I just click it there, 0-0, 0. Been 3 1-0s, 1-1. So let's count this 5, 8, 11. I think it's going to be 20, isn't it? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, so 20 games they've played. So 0-0 hasn't happened in those games for those teams. So that's quite a lot of data there. There's quite a lot of games without a 0-0. 0-0 price at the moment is down at 3.1. So that really is starting to get interesting here. I was thinking of the lay the draw originally, and that might still be a play when it goes odds on, but I'm definitely looking at this 0-0 market more seriously now. So yeah, let's see how the game unfolds, and I'll be back again if I do get involved in this trade. Okay, guys, I've come back here 65 minutes in. As you can see here, there hasn't actually been any further shots on target. So unless there's a late flurry of action, I'm unlikely to get involved here. Although there's been some shots off target, obviously for this half, it's not exactly phenomenal. Let me get that word right. The dangerous attacks to attacks is also lower than I like. I like it to be around the 66%. So again, unless this stuff really picks up in the next few minutes, I'm going to leave this trade. And sometimes leaving a trade is as good as a winning one because you haven't lost any money on a bad trade. I think too many people are too eager to get in, and they don't wait for the right stats in play. They might have sort of medium strength stats and think, oh, I want to get in. I'd much rather wait for some stronger stats and make sure that when I get in, I'm fully confident in the trade. Because even if it loses, if you're confident when you get in the trade and it loses, you can kind of most of the time just put that down to variance, and in the long term you will do well. But if you're not confident and you get in a trade, you're going to be sweating every second that trade exists. The other good thing now is that because quite a lot of time's passed in the game, if we do get involved later on, then obviously we don't have to put as much liability in to get a decent return. Especially this late in the game, I definitely won't be putting down a massive stake. It'll be quite a small stake, probably because if I do get in, I'm probably going to leave that stake in till the end now. There's not going to be a ton of point taking a red at 85 minutes when I know there could be another 10 minutes of the game left and actually still a good chance of a goal, especially if the action does pick up soon, because that will mean that the momentum is pushing that way towards a potential goal. So actually, I'll probably be losing value in the long term by trading out 85 minutes. Now, I might win in that situation where if I traded out 0-0 at 85 minutes and then suddenly nothing happens, I might think, oh, great, I saved a percentage of my stake. But at the same time, I think in the long term, you make that play, it doesn't make you money. As we know, from 75 minutes to 90 minutes is when most goals are scored. So it's not a bad time to get into the market if you can, especially at nice prices. And at the moment, there are some nice prices on this game because they're just assuming that there won't be a goal, probably because of the lack of action so far this half. But let's see what happens in the next sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then we can make another decision. It's always about constantly making decisions as we go along. Okay, guys, back again here. As you can see, 75 minutes gone. Still 5 shots on target. So nothing really that greatly interests me here at the moment. Again, there's been quite a lot of corners. It's gone up to 11. So Adelaide have had, I think, 4 corners in the last few minutes. So it could be interesting. But again, that hasn't translated into shots at all for them. So maybe we'll come back 80 minutes plus and see if there's some action then. But if not, again, we've done quite well here so far, because if we'd got in at half time at those odds and not waited to see if the momentum carried on, we could have found ourselves in a spot of bother. At the moment, worst case scenario, we just miss a goal. But I'm willing to take that chance on the fact that there just hasn't been the action this half that we want. And I think, again, it's really good discipline just to get in at the right times, and not just to get in because you think there will be a goal, but actually just backing that all up with the pre-match and the in-play. Can't stress that stuff enough. I know I mention it a lot. Maybe some people are sick of hearing it. But really, if you want to make it, the discipline is the absolute key. So I'm just going to stop again here. I'll come back in a few minutes. Let's see if we can get something on towards the end of the game. Again, as you can see, nothing's happening. Still 5 shots on target, 85 minutes gone. That's it for me. I'm not going to trade this game. I'll come back here at the end of the game and let's see whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision. Hopefully the right one. Okay, guys, just come back here and we're having a look. As you can see here, nearly full time. Nothing's happened. Still only been 7 shots on target. A couple of those were in the last couple of minutes, so if you did want to take a really late flyer, your liability would be minute anyway. So there wouldn't really be too much wrong with that. But in terms of this game, full-time whistle's just gone. You can see how we analysed it throughout the half. I will put this video up because I just think it's so important to see that. I don't think there's many if any, and not enough videos of people showing the psychology of trading, of when to get in, when not to get in. And actually, not getting in is just as important as when to get in, because, like I say, a lot of people would have been duped into getting into a trade here. Um, and actually, experience has shown that this was a trade that was easily avoided. And the in-play stats just didn't back up the pre-match stats. That's why I have to have both stats working together, because if they're not, it's not a trade for me. And we've been proven right in this instance. And as you can see, I mean, there was 4 shots on target in the first half. There's actually less in the second half, even though second halves of games are usually more lively. There was quite a few shots off target. But again, as you could see, there wasn't a ton of dangerous attacks compared to attacks. It was nowhere near the 66% I liked. There were a lot of corners, but not a lot of shots, which I find interesting because it kind of shows what kind of game it is. That even corners aren't producing efforts off target or on target. And as you could see, the whole process there, really easy to avoid that trade, and just playing it safe and being clever with your trading. Now, people might think, well, yeah, so what? You didn't have a bet, no bet. But the reality is actually that you've saved money there, which is as good as a winning trade. Because if I had traded that and lost money, I would have then had to win another trade just to get back to, a level playing field, back to evens again. Whereas in this spot, I don't have to do that. And if I do win the next trade, I'm up. That's the difference a no trade can make. And you really have to get your head around that in this game, because one thing you don't want to be doing is entering the market at the wrong time. It's entering the market when you're not 100% sure, or entering the market when you haven't got the pre-match stats and the in-play stats backing you up. Fortunately for me, this was quite an easy one to avoid. Watching the progress of the match, there wasn't really a moment that struck me as you've got to get in here and trade at this moment. And so I was quite pleased that I was able to show you that process, because people do ask me about that process going through, how are you analyzing as the game's going on? So I hope you got something from this video. Like I say, I'm actually pleased. It feels like a victory, even though there wasn't even a trade involved to me. And that's how you have to view it. That's how you have to look at it in this situation, because there will be another opportunity soon, probably later today, that will be good for a trade, and then you can make a profit there, and you're not digging yourself out of a hole, which you would have been had you got involved in this game, looking for goals. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and obviously there'll be more in the coming weeks. BTC show will be up soon, so I hope you're keeping up with those. We put a lot of effort into that, me and Ryan, so well worth a watch if you want to just hear how pro traders think and talk with each other on a weekly basis. But yeah, cheers for watching, and I'll be back again soon.